Hello, guys, and welcome back to the FPL Duo. We're back for the transfer tips video for game week 12. So, as always, again, on a Tuesday evening, we've got to discuss the players that you should be looking to buy, sell, hold, and ignore. How you doing, Jordan? How's your start to the week been? And yeah, how you been generally?
Yeah, it's been great so far. I mean, there was a very dramatic end to game week 11, as most of us who watched that match against Spurs and Chelsea in that derby were completely shocked in that match. But we obviously move on now. Game week 11 is behind us, and now we look forward to game week 12, where we talk about the players in these transfer tips.
Yeah, definitely. We'll discuss more obviously on Thursday when we recap of the mad game week 11. But game week 12 is approaching, and yeah, we've got the first buy on the list, and is your pick. You've gone with Callum Wilson as a buy. Talk us through your thoughts on why you selected Callum Wilson. Why you think he's a good player to bring in for game week 12 and beyond.
I was actually surprised by many things with Callum Wilson. One of them being he's scored 7 goals so far this season, and I feel like he is quite underlooked for this statistic because his ownership is literally only 6.4%, which makes him literally a differential underneath 10%. And yeah, I feel like he's not been in the eye line for many people just because of the ownership, and he had a price drop at 7.9 million. Now, the particular reason why I put Wilson as a buy, not for the reasoning of the fixtures, but it's because of his teammate Isaac. Now, at the moment, Isaac is injured for a groin injury, and he is expected back, but not until around the 25th of November. So that's another 2 weeks before Isaac is back. I do understand that there is international break though after we've had game week 12, but I think for this fixture coming up for Callum Wilson, the Bournemouth away one, like I said before, I think Bournemouth is the fixture to target because it seems they are conceding a lot of goals, such as last game week where they conceded 6 against Man City. And even though it's an away fixture for Newcastle, the away form's not so great. I do expect goals in that game coming from obviously main man Wilson. I think as long as Isaac's not really there, there's not really that rotation risk in between both of them because we've seen where Isaac may start one game and then Wilson may play another, as it explains why he's had 5 appearances off of the bench. So that is due because of the rotation between Isaac and Wilson between them. But because Isaac is short-term out injured, Callum Wilson could be a nice 1 week or 2 week hunt to go on, especially with the fixture in game week 12. So yeah, that is why I put him as a buy. I think he's a great underlooked buy, especially underneath 10%, and the price for Wilson, especially with a few flags popping up in our teams. I think Wilson can be that massive differential to go forward with.
Okay, nice one, Callum Wilson. He has done really well so far this season. So yeah, interesting with the pick. Let us know what you guys think of Jordan's pick though, for Callum Wilson as a buy. Let's move on though to the player I've selected as a buy for this week, and I think might be an obvious one, might not be. Is Jared Bowen. Now, Jared Bowen, he's a player I don't have in my team, so I actually am looking to bring him in myself. So that's why I put him in as a buy, and I look at his numbers so far. 11 appearances, 7 goals, 1 assist. So he's getting attacking returns. He's performed well individually. I know West Ham have had a few iffy results. However, you take a look at the next 5 fixtures, and they're as good as they get really on paper for West Ham. Nottingham Forest at home in game week 12 looks like a decent fixture. Burnley away, Palace, Tottenham, and then Fulham. And at his price, 7.4 million, he's one player that I am definitely looking to bring in. His ownership is just above 20%, so everyone doesn't have him still, even though he does seem quite popular in a lot of teams. But yeah, I just like the fixtures again. I do like from what I've seen from Bowen this season, and it's just one of those. You see expected goals per 90 as well, 0.44. The underlying numbers are decent. And yeah, West Ham are a bit of a funny team, I think, as well, because some weeks they're brilliant, other weeks they're not so brilliant. But I just think Bowen's one of those players that you're going to want in your team, even long term. You'd look at the next five. I'd be happy to play him in every game coming up. So definitely, I am looking to bring Bowen into my team, and it's one that I think all of you guys should be looking at as well, bringing in sooner rather than later. Um, but yeah, those are the buys in out the way. You know, you've selected Callum Wilson. I've gone Bowen. Let us know what you guys think in the chat as well, in terms of who you're looking to bring in and who's on your watch list as well. But let's move it along to some players that we reckon that you guys should be probably getting rid of and selling. And I've actually gone with Romero as a selection for a sell. I think again we're not going to spend too long on this one because it's an obvious sell. Romero has actually had a good start to the season on an individual basis as well. You know, for a centre back to score 2 goals in 11 appearances is very nice if you've owned him. He's also played really well for Spurs. Spurs' start to the season, obviously losing for the first time yesterday evening in that mad game, which if you guys haven't watched it, it's the best game I've seen in a very long time. Just chaos everywhere, and obviously Romero got the red card in a heated match, and yeah, you've got to sell him. He's going to miss the next 3 games, I believe, so he won't be back till game week 15, I think, in against West Ham. So easy sell, and there's a couple of defenders that you could be looking to bring in. Maybe a Newcastle defender, like a Lascelles potentially, or even a Brighton defender, maybe, or I think Palace as all Palace defender like a Gurhey, like a Mitchell, like an Anderson. If you want to spend a bit more money to bring in for Romero, so Romero is an easy sell. He is quite highly earned. I'm surprised, 18%. So a lot of you do have him in your team. And yeah, easy sell for this one. But yeah, Jordan, who have you gone with as the next sell? And talk us through your reasoning behind selling Kyle Walker.
Yeah, I've gone with Kyle Walker as a sell, obviously for this game week 12. There's a few reasons being I've not really been impressed, obviously, with Man City keeping clean sheets. Because if we look at their last 5 games, they've literally only managed to keep 1 clean sheet, and that was against Man United in game week 10. So since game week 10, they haven't had a clean sheet since game week 11, where they won 2-0 against Nottingham Forest. So in terms of clean sheets for Manchester City, they're still lacking. I think they've only managed to get 4 clean sheets so far this season, I believe. And that is not many for a team like Man City. Like we saw last season, even though they won games, they still managed to concede at least 1 goal against the opposition team. And Bournemouth was a prime example because they did concede 1 against them, even though they won massively by 6 goals. And I feel like I did start off with Ederson in goal for me at the start of the season, hoping that Man City could potentially keep more clean sheets this season, but it doesn't look like it's the case. It seems to be the same problem as last season, where they just kept conceding silly goals or mistakes happening at the back. And yeah, I'm not too keen on either goalkeeper or defender for Man City at the moment. And the more reason being is for the fixtures you see on the screen.
Yeah, I was just going to actually add the fixtures are done wrong because Tottenham are on there twice. So the fixtures are actually Chelsea, Liverpool in game week 13, Tottenham in game week 14, Villa in 15, Luton in 16. Sorry about that, guy. Just a little error on the graphic.
Yeah, just a little typo there. Yeah, the upcoming fixtures though for Man City are really tough, and yeah, I don't really see a clean sheet in any of the next 5 fixtures for obviously.
I mean, Man Luton City. In game week 16 is okay, right?
Yeah, apart from Luton in game week 16, which is not Aston Villa away, the next 4 fixtures for Man City don't look great on paper. I don't see clean sheets for them whatsoever. So that is why I put Walker as a sell. I don't see any clean sheets, and he's only had 1 attack and return, which was 1 assist so far this season. So he's not really getting that many attack and returns, Walker. So if you're relying on him for clean sheets, then in the next 4, I think I'll be looking to sell and look for another defender who has better fixtures in the long-term run.
Okay, nice one. Let's move on then to the next bunch of players that we're going to select. And these are the holds, and these are players that managers are transferring these players out. But we think you should, give a chance to these players a bit, a couple of more weeks, maybe a bit more patient with them. So I've selected Julian Alvarez as a hold because I still wouldn't want to be selling Julian Alvarez if I'm being honest. If I had him, obviously I don't own him, but if I think looking at it, 11 appearances, 4 goals, 5 assists, he's been really good this season. He's been very impressive, especially with the absence of KDB in that squad. And I take a look at, the minutes he's getting. He's playing a lot of games, which we didn't expect at the start of the season. So that's a positive. Also, the facts are Haaland could be missing out next game, the Gameweek 12 fixture against Chelsea, and that makes Alvarez an even better option in my opinion. So if Haaland's out, then you definitely want Alvarez because he's going to be leading the line for Man City for the next couple fixtures. So again, I think Alvarez for me is a no-brainer and is a hold for sure because the way he's playing, I've been impressed. Man City, yes, the fixtures on paper are tough. Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham, Villa, and Luton. However, Man City are the best team in the league. I think that's fair to say. They're going to score goals because, I don't see Chelsea keeping a clean sheet against Man City. I see Man City scoring against Tottenham. I think they'll score against Liverpool, and then they'll score against Villa as well. So Man City will score goals in the next 4, I'm pretty sure. And I would want to get rid of Alvarez if I had him. 4 goals, 5 assists. You can't really complain too much. 7.2 million as well. Pretty cheap. And you're a holder of Alvarez as well, Jordan. What's your thoughts, obviously, as a hold? Fixtures aren't the best, but he's playing well, and Man City are.
Yeah, Alvarez is keeping up the form despite being taken off early in the last game. But I think with Alvarez, I like how many minutes he's playing this season. Obviously, the absences of players like KDB that has allowed Alvarez to obviously get more minutes underneath Pep. And I think he likes playing Alvarez alongside Haaland. And also, depending on what the situation is with Haaland's injury, Alvarez could be a potential secondary pick if it turns out Haaland is not obviously going to be fit for that Chelsea away game. So all the more reason, obviously, to hold Alvarez on, just to have a Man City asset if Haaland is not fit enough, or if we hear he's not going to start in that Chelsea game. So yeah, I think for many reasons, I don't think I'll be getting rid of Alvarez. I think I'll be keeping hold of him despite the run of fixtures. I have liked his form, which he has shown improvement with his 4 goals and 5 assists so far this season.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's move along then to the next player that we think you should be looking to hold. Obviously, you've selected Matty Cash as a hold. Obviously, he's had a little injury he went off with, I believe. I don't actually know how serious it is. I mean, I'll let you take it with Matty Cash as a hold.
Yeah, Matty Cash is a hold because as far as we know, obviously he got taken off early in that game. But in that Nottingham Forest game. But he got taken off with a shoulder injury. But as far as we know so far, it isn't. We can't tell how serious it is. So I don't think I'll be jumping on the gun to get rid of Matty Cash yet. I think it's still early days to see the severity of his injury, because we might find out his injury is not as bad as first thought, because he did indicate that he wanted to come off, which was a sort of a good sign. It means that he didn't want to get it any worse. So in hindsight, especially with the fixture in Gameweek 12, which is Fulham at home, that could be a nice, I think, clean sheet for Aston Villa. And if Matty Cash is fit enough, I believe that he could be obviously a nice hold for that fixture purposely. And obviously for Bournemouth away in Gameweek 14, I think that's also a nice fixture for Aston Villa, especially if they want to bounce back as well. And yeah, I think for the moment it's still early days to see obviously how Cash will get on in that, obviously leading up to Gameweek 12. So for me, he's still a hold until we find out more information down the line before Gameweek 12.
Yeah, definitely. I think you got to hold him if he's fit. If we hear he's fit, then yeah, you keep Cash for sure with the fixtures coming up. Fulham, Bournemouth, as you said, Gameweek 12, Gameweek 14, they look like nice fixtures. He's been a bit disappointing in the last couple of weeks, obviously not getting any returns, but I think you've got to back the fixtures still for Aston Villa before they turn in game week 15. Moving on then to players that we think you should be looking to ignore and maybe completely leaving out the team. Interestingly, you've gone Embuemo. Talk us through your reasoning behind Embuemo, because he is very popular in recent weeks. He's had 2 price rises, I believe, from 6.6 to 6.8 within a matter of days. It feels like. Obviously, he's doing really
Yeah,
well. Sorry, obviously he's doing really well. But yeah, talk us through your thoughts on this one.
yeah, I think it's quite well. If you see the fixtures, let's just talk about those. With Embuemo coming obviously off an assist in his last game, now the fixtures do turn for Embuemo. Obviously, the Liverpool away in game week 12, which is going to be really hard, especially at Anfield. Not many teams are very fortunate there. It's very hard ground to play on. And then you've got Arsenal at home, even though it's a Brentford home fixture. It's still against a very formidable team, Arsenal, which obviously are contenders for the title this season. And I feel like those 2 fixtures are going to be really hard for Embuemo to get anything from. Now, this is quite a backwards comment, because obviously he did well in Chelsea fixture, which it didn't like he was going to. But with these 2 fixtures, I don't expect much to come from Embuemo, even though he's been really great so far this season. I mean, he's had 3 nice returns in a row, 2 of them being double hauls, and with 6 goals and 3 assists this season at the price of currently 6.8 million. He's been proven value for money, and I kind of wish, as a previous Embuemo owner, that I didn't get rid of him before that Chelsea fixture, as he literally would have gave me 20 plus points by now and helped my rank out. But I think we can say for now, game week 12 and 13, we can leave out Embuemo. There's many other midfielders like Bowen and Matoma who have much better fixtures in the next 2. And I'm considering myself bringing Embuemo in, contemplating bringing him in when he has Luton at home in game week 14, where the fixtures then swing back into being more easy and looking good, obviously, for Embuemo to equalise, hopefully, on his goals and assists. But that is why I think he's ignored. It's purely because of the fixtures now. They have now turned. There's no more easy ones for, obviously, Brentford. And yeah, I don't see much coming from Embuemo in the next 2.
Yeah, I fairly agree with you there. I think the next 2 are very tough. Liverpool, Arsenal, I think it gets much tougher than that. And then after that, game week 14, he will definitely be on the watch list for a lot of our teams, and we'll probably be looking to bring him in for that Luton fixture. But yeah, next 2, yeah, I think we'll probably have to ignore him. Moving along then to the final ignore on the list, and this is the man of the game week 11, obviously with fresh off his 22 pointer against it was against Bournemouth, wasn't it?
Yeah. Boom.
Yeah, so everyone's talking about Jeremy Doku. He's been a brilliant, exciting signing for Man City. However, I am putting him as an ignore because I'm not massively keen on bringing Doku in, actually, even after his 22-point haul. So the reasoning behind this is just because of Pep Roulette, basically. So we saw when Man United had the tougher fixtures. I say that tough in inverted commas because when they played Man United, for example, Pep Guardiola decided to play Grealish. When they played Chelsea as well, I believe, Man City, I believe Grealish played as well. So I'm just worried that with Pep Roulette and the way he operates, I just think Doku is far too risky in terms of bringing him in, because I look at the next, the fixtures now. Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, Villa, and Luton. If I'm being honest, I would be very, very surprised if he starts even 2 of these games. I think he might start 1 in the next 4. I think Grealish probably will start against Chelsea. Grealish will probably start against Spurs as well. Doku might get a run out against Liverpool as a start. I'm not sure, but I can see Grealish definitely starting these fixtures. And just taking a look on my screen with Grealish. So against Newcastle, a tough game. Pep played Grealish and he preferred Grealish over Doku. Same again against was it Man United? He preferred Grealish. So for that reason, I just think Doku's too much of a risk to bring in, and it's just a headache. I think with having a Man City midfielder, because they'll play, they might get you a 15-point or something, but then a week later they'll be benched, and then you'll have a headache later down the line. How do I get rid of Doku? I just think that's going to happen. So looking at the fixtures next 4, they're not great as well on paper. However, we know how good Man City are, but I just think I'll be surprised if Doku even starts 2 of those. I think 2 starts and you've done very well to get that out of him. So for that reason, he's an ignore for me. And but yeah, maybe later down the line, if we see he becomes a bit more nailed, I could take a punt. But for now, I'm not interested in Doku for my team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it just seems Pep prefers to play him in the less challenging games rather than the big ones. Like obviously we mentioned Man United game where he played like 3 minutes, came on. Obviously the Arsenal one where they lost 1-0, played 22 minutes. And yeah, these difficult
Newcastle
games
as well. I don't think he played in the Newcastle game, or did he come on?
In the Newcastle game. I'm not sure.
Gameweek 2, they had Newcastle, didn't they? Man City. I'm trying to check now. Against Newcastle. Sorry, it wasn't Newcastle, was it?
I think
my bad.
Game week 3.
Yeah, my bad. Against if I'm just looking at it here, minutes played, he's only played 2 90 minutes, hasn't he? Against Wolves in that loss, and then obviously against Bournemouth. But other than that, he's had a lot of sub appearances, and he's been taken off.
Yeah, it's been very variable minutes for Doku. So it's like testing waters, I think. I think Pep's doing with him at the moment until obviously he's settled into Man City.
Yeah, and I just think with the way Pep likes to play, Pep likes to have like control and possession. And when he plays these harder teams like Liverpool, likes of even Tottenham with the the way they're playing right now, I think Pep's going to prioritize keeping the ball. And for that reason, Grealish is more kind of suited to that. If he wants a 1v1 like player that's going to beat the fullback, etc., then go with Doku. But we know in these bigger games, control is what Pep wants, and for that reason, I just can't see him not playing Grealish. So, yeah, I think that's what I think on it. And let us know what you guys think of Doku. Do you think you should be bringing him in, or do you think you're too worried about that headache potentially when he gets benched in one of these coming fixtures? But yeah, those are the players, guys, we've selected for you for the buy, sell, hold, ignore series. Let us know what you think of our picks. Do you agree with them? Do you disagree with them? It'll be interested to hear your thoughts. I'll take a few comments as well before we do wrap the stream up. But got a few of you in here. If you haven't already, please do smash the like button. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. Dan says, evening, guys. Tottenham game was crazy to watch as a neutral. Yeah, it was mad. it was a ridiculous game of football. Before the Tottenham game, I had 12 points and had 10.2 million game week rank. Palmer saved my week, and Lascelles coming in for Lamptey, who didn't start, helped as well. Yeah, I mean, I think Palmer owners, I am a Palmer owner. He pretty much saved me. Could have saved me from a red arrow. I ended up getting about a 200k red arrow. So he did save me quite a lot because I was on a 1.5 million. Sorry, I was on a 1 million red arrow. So Palmer did help, and yeah, it's nice to see Palmer get that goal after me bringing him in. 33 points as well, says Neil. Yeah, it was a low scoring week. I mean, we're going to discuss it more on the team selection video and talk about how we both did. Jordan, I'll let you take this one. Best Maddison replacement. No money in the bank.
Oh, yes. The dreaded Maddison injury to top off that madness of a fixture. Yes. Well, I think there's a few that I can mention. There's Gordon, who's 5.7. There's obviously
what was his Bowen? We mentioned Bowen as well in the chat. Oh, sorry, in the video today.
Yeah, there's also Bowen, who has nice fixtures. Matoma, he's another player at 6.5 million who has a nice fixture against Sheffield United at home, if you want to target that. There's He-Chan, the Wolves midfielder, because Neto is still currently out. He does have Tottenham next, but Tottenham have lost 2 of their defenders, and it may look more vulnerable at the back for Spurs next game week. So maybe Juan could be a different pick. I'm trying to think who else. Douglas Luiz could be another one. He's got Fulham at home. That could be a nice fixture for him. And he's 5.6 million.
Yeah, for me, the main guy I'll be looking to bring in is probably Bowen. I think the fixtures are nice. Of the Mitoma we've mentioned, again, I think it's a good pick. I think Saka, if you've not got him, I still think Saka's a decent pick that you'd want. Obviously, there's the likes of Diaby, who's got short-term fixtures that are quite nice. Aston Villa next couple of games aren't too bad. So Diaby, if you want to go short-term and be a bit different. But those are the players that I'll probably be looking to bring in midfield, especially if Maddison is out long-term. And I think we're going to wrap it up here. It's just a bit of City chat and Haaland is confirmed to start, says Neil. So that's good. It looks like Haaland's fit. And we will be
Good
going
sign.
to watch the Champions League, actually. And it should be a nice evening of football. So we want to thank everyone for watching the stream. If you enjoyed it, please do smash the like button. Also, make sure you do subscribe if you haven't already. Anything else you want to add, Jordan, before we do wrap up?
Thank you guys for watching. Obviously, our team selection is on Thursday, so stay tuned for that, because there is a lot of work to do in our teams. There's a lot of flags and a lot of questions I imagine you guys will need answering in that. So tune into that Thursday at 7 p.m. UK time. But until then, obviously enjoy the Champions League and football tonight. There's a few teams playing, like Newcastle at the moment. But until then, take care, and we'll see you Thursday.